According to Jewish theology, these were the orderings of the 24 sons in their service to execute the priest office in the house of the Lord, according to their manner, under Aaron their father, as the Lord God of Israel had commanded him. Knowing that they were 24 priests from Aaron's sons, but only 12 months in a year, how could all 24 sons execute the priest office within a year? There are also 2 sets of calendar dates, according to the Jewish year, equaling 6 months, twice yearly. Zacharias was a priest in the division of Abijah to burn incense, which was the 8th of 24 priestly divisions in the Old Testament. Priests served in their divisions for 1 week twice a year, and each day's duties were determined by a lot. The incense offering was the most sacred duty, and a priest could only perform it once in their lifetime. According to the Torah, incense was burned as part of the Passover sacrifices in the temple, as the instructions for meal offerings during Passover included incense, and the priests would burn incense regularly on the altar as part of the temple rituals. This practice was specifically mentioned in Exodus chapter 30, verses 5 to 8, where it states that incense should be burned every morning and evening. The burning of incense was a central part of the temple worship in Jerusalem, occurring every morning and evening. According to the biblical account in Luke, when Zechariah was burning incense, the Jews were likely celebrating the Passover, as this is the day when a large crowd would gather in Jerusalem and all around the temple to pray, while the incense was being burned by the high priest inside. This aligns with the description of the whole multitude of people were praying without. The Bible mentions that a large crowd was praying outside while Zechariah burned incense, which is most closely associated with Passover and Yom Kippur practices. Yes, in Jewish tradition, most Jews traveled to Jerusalem for Passover celebrations. In ancient times, Passover was one of 3 major pilgrimage festivals, or Shalosh Regalim, when Jews would gather in Jerusalem. During temple sacrifices, each family would bring a lamb to the temple to sacrifice, which was a reminder of the lamb eaten during the Exodus from Egypt. The population of Greater Jerusalem would swell to over 2.5 million people during Passover. During the festivals, Jews would often attend the 3 pilgrimage festivals together, as they were close together in time. Passover is a celebration of God's deliverance of the Israelites from Egypt, and is also known as the Festival of Spring. It symbolizes new life, hope, and the importance of starting afresh. After the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE Passover, celebrations return to the individual's home and remains there. Today, in Messianic temples, there are groups that celebrate all the Jewish feasts. The angel told Zacharias that his wife Elizabeth would conceive a child. The Bible continues to go on to say a verse mentioning after those days that his wife Elizabeth would conceive. Let's now look into the timing of John the Baptist's birth. The Bible quotes that Zacharias spoke about his son being born at high spring. Therefore, knowing that John the Baptist was born in late spring, it is also relevant to understand that high spring means later on that season. Some people, when they are meeting at lunch, might say high noon, concerning a little later after 12, like 12:30 or 12:40. Yet noontime or afternoon wouldn't refer to being a high noon. I also understand that springtime begins in March and ends in late June. So if John the Baptist was born in high spring, the Bible teaches me that he was born sometime in late spring, most likely in early June. And if Mary gave birth to Jesus Christ 6 months later, I come to July, August, September, October, November, and December, which is 6 months after June. Therefore, the timing of the exact date of Jesus' birthday is not specifically mentioned in the Bible, but if you go according to this reference of the high spring, and that Mary was 6 months apart from the birth of John the Baptist, then it's relevant to see that he was born in December. And so my personal opinionated theology is that Jesus was born on December 25th, which is a very important day. The term day spring is only found in the King James Version. Day spring is an archaic word meaning dawn or morning. The definition of the word day spring means the beginning of a new era or order of things, and can also be referred to as a brand new season. The definition of the word day means the present time. The definition of the word spring means a season after winter and before summer, in which vegetation begins to appear in the northern hemisphere from March 21st to June 21st. The definition of the word high means a high point, level, or figure at or to a considerable or specified height. Therefore, day spring on high does not only refer to the definitions Google has limited us to believe according to other theologies. Seeing my own personal interpretation leads me to a different understanding as well. Valentin's definition of day spring on high means a new season at the height of its end, which is a common sense definition according to the visible literary explanation of what's read. The exact date of Jesus' birth is unknown, and the Bible doesn't provide a specific date. However, Christians have celebrated the birth of Jesus on December 25th for almost as long as the tradition has existed. The date may have been chosen due to a combination of early Christian thought, Jewish tradition, and the Roman Empire's cultural context. The Egyptians represented the newborn son with an infant, and on the winter solstice's birthday, they would exhibit the infant to their worshippers. The first record of Christians celebrating Christmas is from 336 CE in the East. January 6th was the date for celebrating the birth of Jesus, but in the West, December 25th became the accepted date. One can research making self-opinionated points looking to worldly theologies or pagan belief systems on Google for the birthday of Christ. Yet Valentin's theology only focuses on biblical content to prove or narrate a scriptural definition as close as possible to the original birth date of Christ.